So as a doctor, you obviously deal with a lot of chronic diseases and you want the program to help with that. Do you think the new generation, my generation, is in any worse state with, you know, with the introduction of TikTok or vaping or stuff like that? Do you think we're in any worse place, or is it pretty much the same?
No, definitely. You know, let's say, Amelia, now, when I was growing up, my mom, she has diabetes, you know, and she gave me so much of sweet food. I'm really happy that I'm not a diabetic, you know, but it's a pure luck, you know. But the beauty was, even though I had a sweet tooth back in my days, what I ate as sweet was all fruits.
Yeah, right.
You know, because you know, I loved sweets, but because obviously growing up there was no McDonald's, Pizza Hut, Uber Eats, anything, you know. So thereby I was pushed to eat for my sugar craving, like, you know, bananas, you know, sweet food and everything, you know. But this current generation, you'll be going in, and if you have a sweet tooth, what you'll be eating, drinking? McDonald's, Pizza Hut,
and
KFC.
it's so at the touch of the button,
exactly,
right?
Yeah, touch of the button there.
Yeah, because Uber's fairly, it's not like new, but it's like pretty, is it in the last 10 years?
Yeah. You know,
Not too sure. But yeah, it's like, hasn't been around for that long.
No, not 10 years, less than 10 years.
Less than 10 years, yeah.
You know? And so that's what I'm saying, that, you know, so your generation, you are eating not food. You are getting ultra processed food. So thereby the risk to you in terms of cancers, you know, diabetes, obesity, look around you. I mean, you know, look at your friends, you know, how many people would be suffering now, you know, and then you talk about TikTok, you know.
I was just going to say, and food like affects so many different parts of it as well. Like, even socially, even like the mental health, like the less foods that are really like real food will definitely like affect your like mental health, just the way that you feel about your body as well. I mean, imagine now generation, you know, you go through this eating this hyper processed food, you get into the sugar hikes, and then you crash down, and what you do, then again you eat another one. It's stress eating and disorders and stuff. And TikTok does not help with that as well. Like, I know we were trying to segue into that, because there's so many like just horrible trends that go on, like, and it's just not healthy at all.
Not healthy at all.
Yeah.
The thing is, you should. We'll talk about that book later. There's a book called Stolen Focus. Every time, unfortunately, our focus has been totally eroded because the big companies is stealing our focus. Because every time you go offline, we are safe, but the moment you go online, somebody else make money. Whether through TikTok, you know, or whether you go to Amazon, you know, go into that rabbit hole, you know, because so thereby our current generation will be pushed to go online all the time, sleep less, eat
just
more.
That quick fix,
quick fixes there.
Boost of serotonin.
Serotonin there, you know. So the risk to your generation will be far higher unless fundamentally we do something drastically different. Drastically different would be things like a government taking over a part of the health, you know, and say, look here, no more, like a sugar tax.
Well, they were trying to pass that a few years ago.
A few years ago. Why is it not passing? Because you know, it's the big companies. They don't want to that happen. They're always thinking it's a personal responsibility and shouldn't be government responsibility. But the thing is, government makes money out of you anyway. The moment you are unwell, you take medications,
And it's so hard. Like, I find personally, like, if I'm looking for a healthy alternative, it's so much more expensive as well. Like organic things or like, unless like you go to a market or something like that, but that's like completely different. If you go to the store and you want to get organic or just even like vegetables and stuff, it's so much more expensive than just like getting 2-minute noodles, you know?
Exactly.
And that's what personally I find myself, because I buy and cook a lot for myself.
Okay, good.
But because I'm short of money sometimes, and it's like I'm always going to go for that cheaper option, unless like I'm cooking for someone else.
Exactly.
And that's what I've kind of got to learn. It's like I've got to learn to do the healthier option.
Yeah.
But again, yeah, like as you were saying, like the tax, it's like so much harder because it's usually more expensive. Yeah, but that's again like a thing with inflation and a whole nother can of worms.
Yeah.
But yeah, just reminded me of that when you said like, yeah.
But I mean, let's talk about your situation. You told me that it's very expensive to buy good food. Okay. Now then, what happened is you try to bypass and save money by buying junk food because it's cheaper.
Yeah.
You know? Now, when you make that choice, what's essentially happening is, let's say, obviously you go to supermarket and then seafood is expensive, meat's expensive, all the fresh food's expensive, and you end up buying 2 minutes noodle every day, you know. And then what happens is, then you create that situation where the ticking time bomb starts. Either you think about and eating a healthy option and spending more money, or saving the money by going on to junk food, you know, because you have to survive. But then the long-term consequences of that choice would be, let's say somebody make that choice, you know, as a family, you know, and start only eating rice, noodles, etc. And that family would be going through obesity, diabetes in the next 10-15 years. So the money they save would be wasted when they develop obesity, diabetes, you know, because the cost of obesity and diabetes to family would be about 3,000, 4,000 per year on average, minimum.
Is that through medication? Right.
Doctor's visit, you know, and then you have to also consider the things like a loss of your personal the lifestyle, because when you're obese, you can't do certain things. Quality of life is reduced, you know, and you have to put a price to it also. So the amount you saved by going in that choice would be wiped off once you get the chronic disease. You know? So what I'm trying to say here is, then you have to figure out, how do I eat healthy? Then what do you have to cut down? Then you have to think. You can think about our materialistic living. Then you can think about, do I need to buy my new iPhone? Do I need to upgrade? You know, do I need to get a glamorous clothing to look nicer? You know, shall I reduce that cost and use that money to eat healthy? You know? That's what I'm trying to say here. You know, it's a choice. Do not ever compromise your health and try to save money from compromising health, because then you're gonna lose big time when you're 40, 50, big time.
And I feel like a lot of people my age don't even, that doesn't even cross their mind, because they're like, because there's an increase in like depression and anxiety that I've like noticed within my own friends and this generation. It's always like not thinking about the future. It's always just the quick fix, you know? And especially with the use of technology and what we were saying was food as well. It's just always about that quick fix. So, I think one way you can always say to yourself is, I have this mental image of myself. You have to always be accountable for your future self, because your future self is not here, but you have to, whenever you make a choice, let's say, you know, every time you buy a Coke, you know, or you can mentally vividly imagine your 50-year-old. That's something you can always do, because, you know, people try to live in the present, but that's where one of the problem might be. We are only focused on the present time and being dopamine driven, because it's all about that satisfaction. Right? You have to change that focus into a more future driven. Right? It's hard, but I done it very gradually. So the program is not gonna ask you to change yourself straight away. Anybody can look at the website and look at the 30 habits, you know. The way it will work out, Amelia, would be, let's say you are the new viewer onto the program. You look at the website and then think about the blueprint of 30 habits. These are habits from, sleeping, mental habits, you know, eating habits, everything combined together. And then you analyze your life and then try to find what are the things that are lacking in your life.
and then let's say you choose one thing. Let's say, for argument's sake, somebody who always watches TV till about 2 o'clock and play games up until night time, and then while drinking soft drink, realize that's a bad habit. That person would need to change that habit over a period of a couple of months. So then
it's not a quick thing at all.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So we'll be going to that topic, and then we'll be teaching that person through books I've read and my personal experience about a way to change that habit. Once you change that habit into a better habit, you go to the next one now. For example, I come this way. 5 years ago, I was nothing.
Yeah.
No exercise, no spirituality, no mental health, nothing. But then within the 5 years, I managed to achieve everything. Not 100%, but
a little bit of everything.
Everything there,
yeah. It's just about a slow growth as well.
Slow growth, yeah.
For example, for me, like I need to get into like a habit slowly. Like if it's something to do with like exercise or something, like if I'm going to the gym, I'm gonna set myself small goals and then like build up to it. Because I'm not going to become like a gym rat in a week.
Exactly.
Yeah. So it's just about having those small. Yeah.
Talk about small habits. I mean, when we go into the next section, which will be
the tools.
Tools needed. So the week one would be, or the first couple of months would be based on tools needed. Because it's very daunting to have. It's very easy to say, here's a blueprint, or an operating manual. Go and do it. It takes. I didn't do it. For example, being a doctor, it took me a long time to get here, to have all those habits I'm talking about. So I don't expect anybody to get them straight away. So I'm trying to give you, the viewers, the tools which will be habit formation, willpower, and mindset. So those are the three things that I'm going to start off with.
Yeah, because you can't just like be like, do this, and people try and do it, but then because they don't have the right habits in place or mindset to do it they don't keep up with that habit.
So for example, you talk about going to gym. Most patients, when I ask them to go to gym, what they do is they buy the gym membership, everything, and when I ask them after a couple of months how many times they've been, once or twice, because
it's hard to get into it.
But you have to make the habits very simple. For example, when I go to bed every night, I have my gym clothes right bottom of on my bed, right down my bed there. So every time I wake up in the morning, I change my clothes straight into my gym clothes. So you have to make the resistance low.
Not a big effort to do it.
Exactly. So. And then I wake up in the morning and then I go to my home gym and do my workout there. Likewise, if it's a bad habit to avoid, let's say you have a habit of always watching the TV or your Facebook, at night time, you need to make that habit harder, make the resistance high. So you just don't keep the phone with you at bedtime. Otherwise, you mindlessly scroll. So that's what
set restrictions
there. So make a habit that is meant to be beneficial, easier, and opposite would be the resistance should be high for a bad habit.